Get ready to feel
the power.
That's Colin Crandall over there, and myself, Adam Roorda, with another episode of MMA Power Hour. Feel the power. This is actually our ninth season. We're about 2/3 of the way done on episode 15, and boy, oh boy, do we have some amazing guests lined up for tonight. Before we get into that, though, I want to go ahead and give a huge shout out to Nessa's Hemp for having such an amazing product. You guys can go ahead and actually take advantage of a nice discount by going over to mmaph.nessashemp.com. They are giving a nice discount to everybody via MMA Power Hour. It's one of the best products on the market for CBDA products. It's cold pressed hemp oil. It's full spectrum, the only of its kind on the market. I highly recommend taking this. I've been taking it for months now, and my life has just absolutely changed. I'm fully energized. Pain is subsided for the most part. Any type of age-related pains. Just a great product. I highly recommend getting yourself a bottle by going over to mmaph.nessashemp.com.
Absolutely. I couldn't have said it better. Really good quality stuff, and worth the cost, because everything is in it that should be in it. No cutting corners, and everything is definitely active ingredients. No inert crap like some companies. You can actually smell the strength of the product, and it's really good. As my Canadians with friends would say, it's CBDA, but it's actually CBDAA. Anyway, great stuff, and you know, nothing like hemp, whether you're chewing it, whether you're smoking it, or whether you're eating it, putting it on your tongue. You can't beat Nessa's Hemp. So
Nope.
I'm with it.
Literally one of the best on the market. I'll be dropping some news on some other cannabis related products, not CBDA. It's not a full spectrum hemp oil like that, but stay tuned. We'll be partnering up with another company in the very near future as well on that, and we're working on some things. And also make sure to hit Colin up if you want a cross-trained MMA fighter t-shirt. These are excellent t-shirts. I know you can't fully see it because I'm talking into the mic right now, but excellent quality, the highest quality t-shirt you can get for working out and showing you're a fan. I recommend reaching out to Colin. He purchased the company a few years ago when we were getting set up here, and it's just an amazing product. So hit him up, get yourself a t-shirt.
Thank you very much, Dr. Adam Roorda, and we're not going to do another run for a few months, and what we have left on this run right now is only medium and small. So for average size guys or a little bit slimmer, hit me up, and I can definitely offer some deals for what we have left in stock. Great quality stuff, makes you look in better shape than you are, and so if you're in great shape, it'll make you look in incredible shape. So
we've got somebody asking on the Hannibal TV right now where the Hannibal's at. He's not the only face here with his programming that he has, and he's definitely not running right now.
No, that's amazing, because I haven't seen a guy about 6'5" and 280 pounds of Canadian national freestyle wrestling champion running scared of too many people in my life. Maybe you have. I don't know. I don't think it's happening.
Well, I can tell you about this guy who had the nickname Coon Dog back in Iowa that was about 475 pounds, about 6'9", I think.
Right.
And I actually got into it with him.
And he was running scared of you?
No, he wasn't running scared. But
you had the courage to get into it, I believe it.
Yeah, I had the courage.
That's why we have the
It was
power.
a night of legends. A lot of people were like, "Oh, Adam, don't mess with him."
I tell you,
man. It's
man.
like, dude, I'm just a scrappy
the
little
dog.
dude.
Yeah, you're a scrappy dude, man. Iowa blood, man. He's got in him. And I'm originally from Michigan, so we got Midwest cornered here. But anybody from any state and any country, we appreciate you here. We really do. Tell a friend. We're gonna have a great show. We've got 3 great guests: 2 from the UFC, 1 from Bellator. I think their combined records for these 3 fighters are something like 55 and 4.
Let's see, one's 9-1. The other one is let's see real quick. Just throw it out. 14-2, and we've got the other one is 16-1.
So it's like 39-4. So I exaggerated a little bit, but total combined record 39-4. these are three guys that are on the way to contention. I would say that a title shot may not happen for any of them this year, but not out of the question in 2022 if they keep doing what they're doing. So three great fighters here, and we know we're going to get a lot of great information from them, entertainment. And as Dr. Adam Roorda may tell you here, this is a full spectrum, fully optimized MMA news and entertainment show. So don't be satisfied by any imitators or anything less than fully. In fact, Dr. Adam Roorda, correct me if I'm wrong, but to get the grade of being a fully optimized, full spectrum
there's
MMA,
nobody doing it like us that's
right,
doing a live stream scenario like us. So
yes.
we're the only full spectrum live stream show, and
that's it. So what can we say? And we're here to help, and we're here to inform you, and we're here to entertain you. So jump in and say hello. We'd love to hear from you, and we really do appreciate your checking.
Absolutely, and it's right there on the screen right now, nessashemp.com. It's MMAPH before that, so just MMA and then the letters P and H for Power Hour. .nessashemp.com. Get yourself a nice full spectrum bottle of full spectrum hemp oil.
Exactly. Up your pH content. It's always a good thing by the Ness's Hemp and by watching the MMA Power Hour.
You combine the two, you will have the most balanced pH levels in MMA history.
Yes.
And you will legitimately, absolutely absorb so much information that you'll be the man on the block knowing everything.
It really will. You'll be the go-to guy or girl for MMA, and your MMA health will be off the chart, off the chain, or off the.
It's actually accurate. A majority of MMA journalists are biggest followers right now. So those of you that are not, these are the type of people that are tuning in regularly to us. Make sure to jump on over to the Hannibal TV on Facebook and check them out if you're ever on Fight TV. If you're on the Hannibal TV, make sure to jump on over to Fight TV. It's FITE.TV, and give us a search there in the search bar. And while you're at it, also hit up our social media pages. It's just at MMA Power Hour on basically every platform.
Exactly. Speaking of that, Adam, in the 3 minutes that we have till our first guest comes on, if social media was removed from the face of the earth tomorrow, what would the majority of people turn to? Would people go back to watching television, or would people start creating like groups like they did before social media? What do you think would happen?
I mean, yeah, you would have just internet chat rooms, AIM, AOL Instant Messenger, the ICM chat rooms that are similar to that. As far as watching TV, no. I mean, they'd be still streaming because you're just talking about getting rid of social media, right?
Right.
So we'd still be streaming everything. Everybody would be flocking to the Fight TVs. Everybody would be flocking to the Netflixes a little bit more because they would just have that much more time on their hands. I don't want to imagine a world without social media because I would be out of work.
Yep, I hear you, because you are an expert in social media, but it would be a different world as it was without that. I think a different world was, I think it was a soap opera my grandmother used to watch.
So real quick, I want to hear your take on the Conor versus Poirier fight coming up here, and give us a real quick rundown before we go into it with the guests.
Okay, so rubber match. First match was about 6 or 7 years ago at 145. Both fighters were very depleted at that weight, although I think Dustin may have been even more depleted, having fought at 155 earlier in his career and then dropping to 45, and he just wasn't the same Dustin Poirier, although giving Conor McGregor all credit, people didn't know how good Conor was, and when he stepped up to fight Dustin, I think a lot of people felt that he was kind of really stepping up in class. Not only that, he really got into Dustin's head. I mean, no one had seen the kind of trash talk Conor McGregor had displayed, and I think the trash talk got under Dustin's skin. He really wanted to smash this guy. He didn't realize how good and the special skill set that Conor had. Conor still hadn't received that huge payday yet, not having had fought Mayweather, and was really hungry, and Dustin just walked into it and got caught. Fast forward a few years later, Conor is in his 30s. He's got tons and tons of money from the Mayweather fight, as well as the proper 12 sale of his interest, and had been fighting only occasionally. Dustin is still super hungry. The underdog in that fight comes in and takes out Conor. Conor had some moments in that fight, but Dustin chopped him up with leg kicks and finished him. So this is the rubber match. It's interesting because off of that last fight, you might have think Dustin might have been an even bigger favorite, but it started out with Conor as the favorite. Late money's coming in on Dustin, but not heavily. I'm really thinking Dustin. If Conor can do this and just kind of get back to the style that he had, and you know, be as hungry as he can win it. It would be a hell of an accomplishment. As I heard one fighter put it, it's kind of hard to get up for your 6 o'clock in the morning road work when you're sleeping on silk sheets. So
absolutely, I think the money is a huge factor here, and I think that at the end of the day, with McGregor having so much of it with his selling off of proper 12, yeah. I just don't see him having the initiative, the dedication in his off time and or even in fight camp
to do what he has to do
to
make adjustments
and win at a championship level.
I think you're probably right.
I think he can win below that, but at championship level it's a different mindset. Right. He's been there, he's had that, but that's what got him the money, and now that he has it, it's just kind of shown through that it has affected him, and I think it's still the case.
Yeah, no, this is not a championship fight, but it's really close to it. And Dustin Poirier,
it's championship level though. Dustin Poirier is going to be able to.
That's true, and the winner probably will get the next title shot.
Absolutely.
But anyway, I don't want to go too much over. I think our guest.
We're ready for our first guest. So those of you tuning in for that, don't worry. All right, they're coming.
Rock and roll. Let's do it. Skype dance.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh,
there
we go.
Skype dance. And he is.
Hey, what's happening, Daniel? Can you hear me?
Hey, what's up, brother?
All good, brother. All we need you to do is hit that.
Yeah, I'm in the gym right now. I'm just going to walk out real quick.
No problem. No problem. Take your time. I'll give you an intro, and whenever you're out and you're ready to hit that video button, that'll be fine. In the meantime, I'll give you an intro since we are live. So, ladies and gentlemen, very happy to have this next guest back on the show. Super exciting UFC welterweight, the man they call D-Rod, Daniel Rodriguez. And Daniel, so happy to have you back on. As soon as you're ready and out of the gym, let us know and we can start chatting and hit the video button and we'll be rocking and rolling.
Yeah, I'm ready now.
Okay, cool. So whenever you're ready, if you see that icon that looks like an old camera,
I'm ready now.
Okay, and then whenever you can hit that video button and it'll get rid of that line, and then we'll have video on you and we'll be looking good. So it's the icon that looks like a old movie camera with a diagonal line across it. It should be below in the lower part of your phone or your screen. All right.
There you go.
All right, Daniel is still there?
Yeah, can you guys see me? Hold on, there's still a lot of noise.
Beautiful. Okay, we got video, and so all right, excellent, man. Hey, yep, all good, man, very good. Hey, I really appreciate you being here, man, and you're doing some hard training. Has there been any update and news on opponents in your fights? I don't want to break anything that's not out there, but I think it's already known what's going on, or is it not? Or what can you tell us?
I don't think anybody knows yet. I've kind of been keeping it under wraps. Other than the team, you know, people that I'm training with right now, they have the full scoop, you know. But
right
as of now, no opponent.
Gotcha.
I'm trying to keep positive, you know. Kind of still keep my focus in camp, you know. Hopefully, someone will step up.
Yeah.
You know, I know it's not ideal for a fighter, but you know, it's the UFC. You know, someone's gonna want to step up, and if you know,
without a doubt,
somebody's opportunity right here. So
without a doubt, and you've been the guy on the other side before, where you've stepped up when someone has fallen out, right? So I'm sure someone else will. So the guy you were going to fight, a lot of people are confused. Was this a brother or a cousin of Khabib?
I think it's his cousin. You know, Not really sure. I know they have the same last name, so
It's true,
I could
yeah.
expect the same kind of fight style coming out those guys. You know?
Without a doubt. Let me ask you something, man, that I don't think a lot of people have talked about. When someone pulls out of a fight, do you believe that 100% of the time it's because some type of injury or illness, or do you think even at the UFC level sometimes a guy will pull out of a fight if he's just not really feeling his opponent, like he doesn't really know if he wants to jump into that fire?
You know what, man? Every fighter is different. You know, fighters think different. Some are trying to protect their winning status. You know, I wouldn't want to say, you know, it's 100% sure. You know, he didn't want to fight me. You know, because I don't think that way.
Right.
I didn't like the fight style, the matchup for me. You know, I didn't like it. You know, I compared to mine. You know, I'm a primarily striker.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
and so it was an ideal matchup for me, but I still took it. You know, I don't like. You know, at the same time, I told myself like, hey, if I'm in the UFC, if I'm gonna be the best, if I'm gonna be a champion one day, I'm gonna be able to beat anybody and everybody. If it's my time, this is gonna be it. You know, and focus my whole camp pretty much on you know, takedown defense and countering his style, you know, and being prepared for that, you know. And the fight didn't happen, you know. But at the same time, it made me that much better at grappling. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So whoever steps up to the plate next, you know, just I'm ready for whoever, whenever. You know, and that has a lot to do with like I said, like I've stepped up on 2 weeks' notice. You know, and you know, these guys want to get paid or not. You know what I mean? Like, you want to fight or not, bro? You want to fight or
right,
or bullshit? You know, and just say you're a UFC fighter. You know, so I want to fight. You know,
absolutely.
So whoever they come at me with names, I'm gonna say, of course I want to fight. I've been invested into this fight and camp and moving out to Vegas, and you know, it's just I'm in no position to not fight. You know, I ain't got no reason to not fight anybody, especially one of Khabib's cousins,
right?
Which I know is gonna try to wrestle me and shit, you know. So
absolutely. Where in Vegas are you training?
Right now I'm at Syndicate MMA. I'm gonna get some pad work in with John Wood. I remember I came out here for my last camp versus Mike Perry, and Cowboy was out here, and that's the whole reason why I came out here to join camp with him. And shit, dude, it's awesome out here. You know, there's great training partners. You know, the coaching staff is good. Of course, UFCPI is here. You know, it just makes life easier.
Absolutely.
You know, being yeah.
Without a doubt, who are some of the people that helped you for this camp at Syndicate?
Wow, camp has been amazing, bro. Starting off in camp, Yair Rodriguez, which was the main event.
Awesome.
Called me. He hit me up. He's like, "Hey man, want to come train in Mexico City with me for a couple weeks." You know, it's like the place was like one of the places where like I grew up on boxing, man. So when he told me that like Julio Cesar Chavez, Marco Antonio Barrera, Juan Manuel Marquez, you know, Eric Morales, like when he told me some of these legendary Mexican boxers' names, that's where they went to train. You know, I was like, fuck it, dude, let's go. So about 2 weeks ago, Yair got the word that his opponent, Max Holloway, got injured as well. And, you know, so that sucked for him, you know. So I was thinking, like, yeah, you know, it's a crazy thing because the place we were at, the lady there was saying there's like a superstition or like kind of like a curse if the fighters up there, whoever goes up there and trains, their opponent gets injured. I'm like, damn.
No, man.
Sure enough, Max Holloway gets injured. I was thinking like, well, maybe not me, you know, and then, bam, now my opponent gets injured. So that curse might be true.
Yeah, you never know.
Also, you know, I've been out here training. You know, some fucking great guys in here. You know, there's man, the list of names is like some of the top fighters out here. Like one of the main dudes I'm training with right now is Sean Strickland. You know, he's got a big fight coming up with Uriah Hall.
Yes.
And You know, Mike Chiesa is here as well. You know, a couple up and comers as well. And you know, just every day is something different, man. It's hard to pinpoint all these names, you know.
No, still,
but
but
it's been
that's
an amazing camp.
it sounds like it, man, because iron sharpens iron. It sounds like you got some killers there, just like yourself, and that's
Yeah, hell yeah, man.
yeah, that's what you need, man. Because you know there are still some guys in the UFC who are training at camps with their brother and their cousin, and guys that aren't real fighters, right? And guys who they can't even really go hard with. And it's like I don't think you can you can't really be a contender if you're training with just relatives of yours that aren't pro fighters.
There's levels of competition out here, bro. You know, and that's the reason why I came out here. I'm like, hey, man, I gotta get better. I want to get better. I'm already good, you know, but like, there's always room for improvement, you know, like, and like coming here and training with these guys, the guys that I mentioned, I'm like, holy fuck, dude, these guys are killers, you know. But at the same time, I'm holding my own. I'm maintaining. I'm not breaking, you know. So, you know, and they're inviting me to practice. So that's a boost of confidence in itself, you know, because I feel welcome amongst, you know, these fighters that I'm, you know, telling other people like, wow, these guys are beasts, you know. They probably telling the same thing about me, you know. So
without a doubt,
it's kind of like a real recognized real kind of thing around here, you know.
Absolutely. No, it sounds like a really great situation. Let me ask you, Daniel, when an opponent falls out, I've heard different people's opinion on what the matchmakers do, Sean Shelby and Mick Maynard, and I'd like your opinion. Do you think that which of these things do you think is reality? Are they going to try to find another kind of grappling heavy guy like Nurmagomedov for you because that's what you train for? Are they not really going to care who they find, or are they going to try to be tricky and find like a striker so that would just kind of mess up what you train for?
In my honest opinion, I feel like they're kind of looking for someone to step up, you know. I've taken fights where I train for certain styles, and another fight falls out, but I don't really know, man. I just, as soon as they give me a name, I'm like, fuck it, let's go. You know?
Yeah,
so,
that makes sense. Because I wouldn't think they're purposely going to try to mess someone up by getting someone the opposite, but it sounds almost like whoever's available at a high level, that's who they have to take pretty much, right?
yeah, you know, or someone that, you know, they feel they maybe want to give the opportunity to, you know,
right.
to actually be in the UFC. You know, I remember when I first got in the UFC, I 2 weeks notice, you know, and they're like, hey, you're gonna fight Tim Mean. I'm like, oh shit, bro, like really?
Right.
So it could be a situation like that, like a kind of like no name fighter, you know, and they give him his opportunity, like, yo, like, you know, or
right.
you know, I'm a dangerous fight for any and everybody, you know. So like I said, there's some fighters out there that are trying to protect their record, or like, you know, like looking for easy fights, or like pick and choosing and shit, you know. With me, I'm like, shit, whoever, anybody could get it, you know. So,
right. Would you have any preference, whether it would be like, say, a guy coming off the Contender Series or a top 20 guy ranked ahead of you? Would it matter to you? Would you have a preference?
At this point, as this late in the camp, and then with the situation given, kind of willing to fight anybody, you know.
Okay.
Like I said, like this fight camp, I focused a lot on grappling, but you know, my striking is there. You know, it's there. It's not gone anywhere. It's the same, except this time, I focus a little bit more on grappling. You know.
Nice.
But at the same time, like striking is good too, because I'm getting work with these high level dudes. You know.
Absolutely. Do you still have a strength and conditioning trainer? I think you've had a good one in the past. Are you bringing people you had in the past with you, or is it just whoever's over at Syndicate?
No, I got a guy out here. Kind of got a Muay Thai kind of approach for strength and conditioning, but it reminds me a lot of the workout getting back home. And you know, we talked about it today. Actually, I was actually there today, and you know, we talked about having like a good solid camp, you know, next time around, you know, because like I traveled a lot, you know, so it's harder to like really, you know, lock down a solid fight camp, you know. But you know, I'm doing what I got to do, you know. If I get an opportunity to go back to the BMF ranch. You know, I'm gonna go. You know, it's just yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Cowboy's an amazing guy, and I'm sure he's a great person to learn from. And I know you've spent some time there, and now you can go to Syndicate and you can go to the PI. And it looks like none of those teams are like holding it against you where you go. You can go back and forth between those places, right?
Yeah.
And then Cowboy, I think
it's cool. These are like good friends to have, you know. Like Cowboy's fucking legend in the game, you know. It's like dope to have to be able to like say I train with him, you know. That's why. You know, I'll go to the ranch. I can drop him a dime as soon as he's back in camp. You know, I know he's getting it. You know, I'm trying to help him get these wins. You know, too. So. Absolutely.
How much do you think you've improved over the last couple of years, and what do you think has improved most about your game?
Man, I improve every.
Oh, looks like we just had a Wi-Fi. Okay, looks like we're gonna reconnect here. All right, so while we're trying to see what we can do there, we're always happy to talk to D-Rod, Daniel Rodriguez. He did have his opponent fall out. I think it was Abubakar Nurmagomedov, who I do think is a cousin of Habib. I got to try to get that clear. I think hardly anyone has it clear on which other Nurmagomedov is his brother. I think he only has one brother that's a pro MMA fighter, and then I think he has like 3 or 4 cousins. But they're all tough, like Daniel was saying. They're all bringing that Dagestani high pressure, power top game, you know, with them, and so it's going to be absolutely a tough opponent. And Daniel is training so hard for someone like that. It would kind of be a dirty trick if they ended up throwing him some sort of like super sharp striker. You know what I mean, Adam? Right. You know, but he'll be ready for it because that's his background anyway. But you know, I have a feeling they don't try to mess anyone up like that. But I think it really does come down to sometimes they don't have a choice of anyone that would be a good fit for a replacement. If they do, they might even ask Daniel who he would like of fighter X, Y, or Z. But sometimes it's literally one guy that would be qualified to take the spot, and they have to say this is who
right.
And you know, but you know, we'll see if we can get Daniel back. And it looks like we're having.
Yeah, it doesn't look like we're going to be able to. It's just a connection in the gym that he's at or something. But we do thank him for definitely tuning in. That's a pretty cool insights to get right about the right time, I would say, for a pretty normal interview. So
yeah,
you know, if he's able to call back, we'll wrap up, ask him a few more questions, especially about fights for this weekend. But in the meantime, I think Colin and I can kind of hit that and cover that. We're talking about the Poirier versus McGregor coming up, and
yeah,
you know, I have to agree. I think Poirier is going to take this one. I think he is going to take it with strikes as well. I think that now that he's got those leg kicks in there, and he is one of the best strikers, I'd say top 10 striker of all time in MMA.
Yeah, always have been one of the very best. Are you surprised though that he's not a bigger favorite?
I am. I'm extremely surprised, especially with the last performance. I think a lot of people are coming in with the money on McGregor, though. There's a lot of McGregor fanboys, and that's all right. I'm a fan of McGregor as well. I actually have an Irish flag, and I'm not even Irish.
Right.
And that's for McGregor. But you know, I've got to be real sometimes. I'm probably a bigger fan of Poirier after this last win, and I thought it was going to happen.
Yeah, we both did. We both officially on our show picked Poirier this last fight against Conor. And yeah, I think we could feel it. We could just feel it was Dustin's time. And I think it's still Dustin's time. It's funny, Dustin, I think, is slightly older than Conor and is longer in the game, but definitely he hasn't been paid nearly as much as Conor. And I think he's still hungrier because of that. And I think he also... okay, and are we saying that Daniel? Okay, no, voice quality. Okay, sound. Anyway, I think that still Dustin may be the hungrier fighter, but Conor is really competitive. That's what someone told me. He may have a lot of money and be rich and set for the rest of his life, but he's a winner. He's a guy that's always worked hard to be a winner. He's really smart. He's really confident. and he's got a unique style. A lot of people do mention, though, that in his last fight, he came in really kind of flat-footed, almost more of like a boxing stance. And I think that was because he had fought Mayweather and trained for a long time for the Mayweather fight. And then I think he had still been training boxing, maybe in case there was going to be a Mayweather rematch.
Well, not just for that, but just for boxing.
Yeah,
because he realized, oh, hey, I need to hone in on this because the Superman punch is only going to do so much.
Right. And so he came in not using his karate stances. He used to come in similar to Wonder Boy Thompson in that sideways stance, you know. And a lot of people correctly point out he did not do any of that in the fight against Poirier. He really looked like he was. And
he's gonna bring that back, but it's not gonna throw Poirier off. Listen, Poirier is just at his prime. I honestly think that. And
is a communique by
next guest actually.
Okay, even though we're early, we're 15 minutes.
Oh no,
early.
he's not ready to go yet. Colin.
Just letting us know he's on. Okay, but yeah, I mean, so question for you, Adam. So you're feeling like Conor will be able to bring back his effective distance karate stance and type of style and movement, but that it won't be effective enough to throw Dustin. But will that be because he really won't bring it back in a really polished way, or he will be able to bring it back in a really polished style? But Dustin is so good at this point that won't be enough.
I think that's what it's going to be. I mean, I'm paying to watch this fight, and I really hope at least it's going to turn out to where we're getting our money's worth. I think we will. I think McGregor, I mean, he is no slouch. Don't get me wrong. He is no slouch. I do, like I said earlier, I am a fan of him. But I do see Poirier he's at his prime. I think McGregor's past his prime, and we're just going to see that slight difference, and it's not going to be a huge difference, but Poirier is going to sneak away with a win. I think it is going to be a knockout, and it'll be in the mid to late rounds. I think previously I said second round, but I think it's going to be a third or fourth round knockout by Poirier. Yeah. I think he's just got more heart in it at this point, and he has a lot more to prove.
More hunger and stuff, too.
He has a lot more to prove. I mean, McGregor's already proven to the whole world that he's deserving of some of the most pay-per-view buys on the planet. So I think he's kind of got a lot less of a chip on his shoulder.
Yeah. Question for you, though. When you mentioned that he's past his prime, I think he's just 31 or 32. However, he has been in the game for 10 years. But
it's not age that when I look at prime for a fighter, I don't look at their age. Age is just a number, and I guess there's an extent later on, but really, I think for him, Conor's peak is past.
Yeah, possibly because of all the money he's earned and the fact that he's fought so infrequently over the years. I can see that.
It's style also. It's style and in the habits that he's developed over time. I think he's just made himself less of an effective fighter, and I think people have caught on to him as well. He's not as unorthodox as an Israel Adesanya or and a lot of people would slap me silly for saying unorthodox, but these guys like that, and Silva and Poirier's up there with these guys in his style, and McGregor is very, I want to say, underdeveloped in a lot of areas, and he really works on between each fight. He kind of redefines his own style, and that's something we're going to see here, which makes it exciting. That's why he's such an exciting fighter, because he redefines his fighting style almost every time he steps in the cage.
Yeah.
But in this case, I think there's only so much you can do before people start catching on, and you start losing the effectiveness because you start changing it up too much. And that's what I'm seeing with McGregor. He's changing it up too much, and he has to, because everybody's caught on to his previous styles.
Yeah.
And you take it down to the ground, Colin, with him, and it's pretty much game over if you have any ounce of ground game.
Right, and Dustin is a black belt. Although from what I've heard, Conor is almost like maybe a brown belt level, or
he's not horrible, but
no, he's not great.
When we start talking, these higher level guys like Poirier that are amazing on the ground, you really run into issues on the McGregor side.
Although it makes you wonder if Conor maybe feels that Dustin is the better striker at this point. Might he try something crazy and be practicing.
My guess is that's actually what he's doing. He's probably.
We might see Conor go for some takedowns.
I think he's probably been working on the ground game, and I think that Poirier's probably. His coaches are probably preparing him for that too, but it's one of those things where this could be super weird for us as fans. We don't know what's gonna. That's why this is probably the rubber match of the century, and I am definitely going to be glued to the TV.
And I'll be there in person, so I'll be glued to watching it.
There you go.
It's going to be something, man, and I can't wait to to be able to talk. You know what I would love if it's a close enough fight. I'd love to be able to have both men being brought out to talk to the press afterward. It's normally just the winners that you see, as most of you know, in the post-fight press conference. But it'd be great if it was so close that that both of them are brought out there. So it'll be interesting to see. I mean, it definitely would, and it would be interesting to see all of a sudden Conor have a wrestling heavy game. I mean, the funny thing is, Conor is a very confident guy. He may look at the fact that Khabib was able to stifle Dustin with the amazing top heavy, Khabib Dagestan wrestling, and it'd be funny if Conor believed in himself so much that he said, "Hey, all I've got to do is replicate what Khabib can do, and then I can just shut out Dustin Poirier." But in all honesty, if he thinks he's going to replicate Khabib's wrestling by having a training camp for 3, 4, 5 months, that's insane. But you never know. It'd be interesting to see Conor in there doing his best Khabib impression, putting some of the Dagestani handcuffs on Dustin Poirier on the ground. That would be insane. But we will definitely see. Co-main event is also super interesting in that it is Gilbert Burns Durinho coming off a hard loss against Kamaru Usman for the title, but having done really well before that. And then Wonderboy Stephen Thompson, who has been on a real streak ever since he got caught by Showtime Anthony Pettis with that Superman punch out of nowhere a few years ago. Since then, he's just been killing it. And this is an interesting fight. It's a slight favorite to Wonderboy Thompson, about 1.5 to 1, not quite 2 to 1.
Do you think they have the odds right on this one?
I think they do. Wonderboy has got the height and the reach, and he's got his really unorthodox style. What's interesting to me is this. They're both specialists, and if Wonderboy is on the bottom, he's in some big trouble against Durinho, although I know he's got to be practicing defending against the jiu-jitsu and then scrambling up. I don't think Durinho is going to catch him on his feet at all, but the interesting thing with Durinho is that people don't want him on top of them so much that a lot of strikers will become a lot more tentative, and Durinho can strike.
I mean, I can see that.
Yeah.
But Colin, I don't know. I think the odds makers have it in the right direction here, but I think it should be a much wider gap.
With Wonderboy, because Wonderboy's never been submitted. That's the one thing.
That's
Durinho's probably his only way to win is by submission, and you're going against a guy who's never been submitted. I kind of agree. I could see Wonderboy a little bit of a bigger favorite, because Wonderboy has gone against amazing wrestlers, and Durinho's not that great a wrestler, but then he is super dangerous with the jiu-jitsu. So I think Wonderboy just has to be careful and not be caught on the bottom in a scramble, because Wonderboy could be winning this fight for 2.5 rounds, get caught in the scramble on the bottom, and get submitted like that,
right.
And in fact, I catch one thing I just said about Wonderboy never being, he never was. I could have sworn he was submitted years back by Matt Brown, but I think maybe he wasn't. I thought he was, but then I looked, and I think that went to a decision. Let's take a look at that, because that was way back, back. There we go. And no, it wasn't. Nope. So it was a decision, although Matt Brown was threatening submissions on numerous occasions. But in Wonderboy's defense, that was like only his first or second fight in the UFC, and only like his third or fourth MMA fight, coming from a point karate champion background and some kickboxing. And so I think his knowledge is a lot better. Both are really nice guys, but I do think I think Wonderboy is one of the best bets right now for me, and I think for you and a lot of people. So, Wonder Boy, I think, is going to win that fight, although you never know with Dorino.
Yeah, and I'm almost tempted to put some money on Chris Matino as well against Sean O'Malley.
Yeah, I guess if it's money, you're not afraid of losing, then
I just feel that Sean O'Malley is a little
overhyped, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think he's the worst fighter on the planet. I mean, if I were to step in there against him, he'd totally knock me out in 30 seconds, or less.
Yeah.
But I just don't see the same value a lot of people do. He is an exciting person.
Great fighter, yeah. But you don't think he merits these odds, which are minus 800, minus 900. I mean, I could see that, although does that mean you don't really think he's going to win, or just that there's value in a huge
I just think there's enough chance with anybody that steps in there against him that it should at least be close odds, and I really do think that it's worth losing $20 potentially
to make 200.
To make
almost 200. Yeah, I see that. I have no problem with that. I think it would be crazy because his opponent's going to end up having had like 12 days notice or 2 weeks notice or even less. So it would be a huge upset and a big ask for this guy Chris Moutinho. But you never know. But Sugarman is tough, and other than that Marlon Vera loss, I think he's been perfect, and this would be just a huge upset, a huge upset, and it's unlikely. I feel it's going to happen. But if you call it, and you said that that you're putting a little money on it, I think it's not going to be one of your larger wagers, though. Would you agree?
No, not at all. I'm not going to go in and drop $2,000 or
right. Even 500,
even 500 or even 200.
Right.
I'll drop $20 on it.
I don't blame you, and for that I would agree. I think there's no problem with that. What else? The women's fight. So let's take a look at that. Yana Kunitskaya is a very nice girl. We interviewed her in person when she won the Invicta Bantamweight Championship, and we interviewed her via Skype a few months after that. She is a nice woman. They call her Foxy, Yana Kunitskaya. Been in the game for many years, going up against Irene Aldana from Mexico. Aldana was looking really great. In fact, if it weren't for a split decision loss against Pennington, she would have been on a 6-fight winning streak. But instead, she was 5-1 going into the fight against Holly Holm, and that was just a disaster for her. Holly just had this really good game plan where she was threatening with the wrestling, where she just kept moving so much that she was frustrating Aldana. Aldana, I think, went in there knowing Holly had the better pedigree with boxing and with kickboxing. And even though I don't think Aldana really took much damage at all, she looked like she was confused, befuddled, and then got outpointed by Holly badly. I think maybe 4-1 or 5-0 on that fight. So it's interesting that she is coming off that loss after having such a good win streak. On the flip side of it, Yana is on a 2-fight win streak, coming off an upset win where she really did pretty much dominate highly ranked Ketlin Vieira. What are the ages on both of these ladies? I think Yana's 31 and I think Aldana is 29. I'm pretty sure. Let's take a look. No, Aldana's older, 33. Aldana's going to be about an inch taller. I mean, this is how this fight matches up to me. Aldana is absolutely the superior striker. The longer the fight stays on the feet, the better it is for Aldana. I think Aldana has got good takedown defense and has got some knowledge of jiu-jitsu. She's with Team Alexa Grasso, and Grasso has proven to be just super knowledgeable and good everywhere with her wrestling, a little bit with her wrestling, very much with her grappling, and absolutely with her striking. So this is a big ask for Foxy Yana Kunitskaya.
It is a big ask, and I think this is the true test for Yana to see whether she deserves to keep hanging with the big dogs.
Yes.
And really, she has shown it in the past, but I think this is necessary for her to win and really be taken seriously as a serious contender.
Right.
And
And it would also be
Aldana's the same way.
Right,
Honestly, both of them.
right.
There's a lot on the line
Yes,
for this, which
yes.
is what makes this so exciting.
Yes, the winner is in the picture, and the loser is absolutely out of the picture.
Right, and you only get so many shots. Luckily for them, they're in the right weight class in the women's division and
Right.
the UFC to get more chances than a lot of the other classes. But this, this is the right weight class to get multiple chances, and I just see it though. Here is if either one of them loses, if they end up taking another loss after that,
at their age, they're going to be in the back of the line.
They're maybe even off the roster.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. I mean, if Yana loses, she'll be 14-6, which indeed isn't a super impressive record. Although she's fought everyone there is to fight. If Aldana loses, she'll be even worse. She'll be 12-7.
Right.
Yeah, it would not be a good look. But anyway, it looks like we are ready.
Yeah, we are ready for our next guest.
Yeah.
So jump right into it. Also, everybody that's tuning in right now, make sure to head on over to our social media. Give us a like, comment, share, whatever. We appreciate all the love, support, help. It's just at MMA Power Hour. Let's go into that Skype dance, Colin.
Just to make sure it's second guest Raufeon.
Yep.
Perfect. Skype dance, baby.
Skype dance. Skype dance, baby. Skype dance. Skype dance.
Hey, Raufeon.
Yeah.
Can you hear me? Raufeon, are you there? Raufeon.
Sorry, you okay?
Looks like we're talking to our guest in the gym. Raufeon, can you hear me? All right, Raufeon, there you are. Can you hear me, my friend?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Excellent. We got you. We're live. Let me give you a proper introduction. Ladies and gentlemen, super excited to have this next guest on our show. He is killing it in the Bellator Fighting Championship Bantamweight division. This is the man they call Super, Raufeon Stots. Welcome back to the show, my friend.
Thank you. Thanks for the introduction.
You're very welcome. And so now you are 16-2, I think, right now in your MMA career, right?
16-1.
16-1. I'm so sorry. Tagging another loss, which probably you'll never see. So that's
yeah. Hopefully, that's the plan.
Exactly, man. And you're on a good streak since you had your loss. You won what, like 6 wins in a row or something?
8, I think.
Nice.
I believe. Yeah.
And 8. and in Bellator, I think you're what, 4-0 now or something? 5-0?
Yes, sir. 4-0.
Nice, man.
Yeah.
And then before that, you were in the LFA. So you've got a good experience fighting with great organizations, man. You're in a very competitive weight class there. Your last win, it looks like, if we go up a little bit more, Dr. Adam Roorda, was against Josh Hill. Before that, you beat Keith Lee. Keith Lee is well known for being the brother of Kevin Lee. I'm sure Kevin Lee from the UFC was probably in his corner. What was that fight like? Keith Lee is a tough guy, and his brother obviously has a reputation of being a tough guy. When you see a guy like that whose brother is really good, do you like give him a little bit more of a respect or benefit of the doubt that he is going to be good because his brother is that good, or do you really not even think that way?
Yeah, no, I definitely think that way. I think a lot of times when you have like guys that kind of come up under their brothers, they kind of can learn from the mistakes. You know, they got like firsthand experience because they're like right up under very successful people. So I feel like a lot of times they're more dangerous because they kind of if their brothers have made mistakes, they're kind of privy to that information, and they can kind of make their own decisions and kind of make better decisions than the older one did, especially if they're the younger one. So I definitely took that into account. Being teammates with Sergio and Anthony, I kind of see that relationship and how they're like two different people, but also, you know what I mean? They kind of feed off or kind of learn from each other, and the relationship between like older brother and younger brother is definitely there. But it's like I feel like in the two cases, like the Keith Lee and the Anthony Pettis, Sergio Pettis kind of deal, the younger brothers are kind of more reserved for some reason. I don't really know why, but the two relationships of brothers fighting, I know that's kind of how it played out. So I kind of figured Keith Lee would be like not like Kevin Lee is dumb, but I figure he'd be like smarter.
Right.
Keith Lee is a smarter, just because his brother didn't have anybody, to kind of show him the ropes.
Right.
And Keith Lee has that.
Right, without a doubt. And now, other than Merab Dvalishvili, the one loss you had early in your career, would you say Keith Lee was the second toughest guy, or was it your last opponent, Josh Hill?
Yeah, the Keith Lee gave me I feel like the toughest fight.
Absolutely.
He gave me a tougher fight for sure.
Absolutely. And you think you might possibly see him somewhere down the line? You guys are both young.
Yeah, I think for sure. Keith Lee is I think I'm the only since he's moved to the camp he's at. I think he was undefeated. I think he was like 4-0 or something. And I'm the only loss he's had. And that fight was a barn burner, and he came to fight, and we both put on a show. And I just came out on top.
Absolutely. And then your fight a few months later against Josh Hill, you looked good in that one, and then other fights beating Cass Bell and just beating a lot of tough guys. And I'll tell you what, for your only loss to be early in your career against Merab, where you got caught really quick before you could even really get into the fight, that's not a bad thing, because A, it's not like you got beat down the whole time, and B, Merab is pretty much beating everyone else down the whole time that he fights them. So, that I think, definitely shows how good a fighter you are. And I'm sure somewhere down the line, even though you're in different organizations, I'm sure you'd love to get that one back if you could.
Oh, for sure. And that fight I feel like taught me a lot, and I kind of needed it. Hindsight, I needed it, and you're exactly right. I've never been like dominated. I got caught, and it happened, and I'm glad it happened early, because there's at least or lesser likely chance of me getting caught, later on in my career. And if I could fight, I would love that fight back. If I can get that fight back, and I think I win that fight majority of the time.
Yep, I can see it. Now, without you over there in the UFC, do you think Merab is destined to be the UFC bantamweight champion?
There's some tough guys there, but I wouldn't doubt he's up there top. I would say he's like top 5.
Gotcha.
I'll probably give him top 5.
And their current champion is Aljamain Sterling. I'd love to get your opinion, man, because before that controversy against Peter Yan, everyone had a lot of respect for Aljamain Sterling. He was a tough guy, the funk master. The guy had wrestling skills. The guy had striking skills. The guy was training with very tough guys like Merab and Frankie Edgar and a bunch of other guys. And it just seems like one situation where he got kneed illegally has made all kinds of people be haters. I mean, it's just crazy. and to me, a lot of these haters are the guys that are sitting around eating hamburgers, hot dogs with fat bellies, right? That don't fight anyway. So really what these kind of guys are thinking isn't that super important. But to me, it's just kind of a shame, because in all honesty, Aljamain Sterling is a very, very tough guy. And I think that you get kneed like that, you're going to be hurting, and it was an illegal blow. I mean, what's your thought on that? Are you one that's very critical of Aljamain, or are you on the other side of it, that you're 100% supportive of what went on there, or are you somewhere in between?
The MMA community or the fan base is a fickle fan base.
Yes,
so,
yes. Very true.
Like you can lose one fight and be the worst fighter.
Right.
You make one bad mistake and be the worst fighter. I still have a lot of respect for Aljamain, and I kind of understand the situation he was in. He took an illegal blow, and he made the right decision for his career. So I don't blame him at all. You know what I mean? I definitely feel like Peter Yan was winning that fight, and I feel like he probably knows that too. But I don't take anything away from him. I don't like discredit him, discrediting any of his past accomplishments. For that one decision, which was probably better for his career. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think he made he had a team around him, but he made the right decision.
I agree, and I'll tell you one thing a lot of people aren't thinking about is Aljamain going into that fight had all the confidence in the world in his cardio, his gas tank, and in how his skills would match up against Peter Yan. And I think that he did find that his cardio started to fail, and he probably underestimated Peter Yan. So I don't think either of those things are going to happen in the rematch. And I know it's not signed yet, but I'm sure they're going to sign it. So I think a lot of people may be surprised that Aljamain.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I think so too. I think he was. I mean, he definitely. I mean, he thought if he could get him Peter down, or he thought he would be able to get him down easy, and he thought it'd be a pretty quick night just because Peter Yan is kind of a kickboxer. But Peter Yan showed amazing grappling, showed amazing takedown defense, and he's a strong, look like a sturdy human being.
Yes.
So that definitely surprised. I feel like Aljamain, and definitely he's gonna fight differently. The next fight. I think didn't he fight Marlon Moraes twice or maybe not?
At least once he beat him. He definitely did come. He no, you're right. No, in the first fight, you know what though? He did lose to Moraes, but then I thought he may have come back and beaten him. But
I thought he beat him the second time. But I know he's gonna fight him differently, and it's gonna be a totally different fight.
Yeah.
Just because he knows those things now.
Exactly.
So,
exactly. I would not be surprised if Aljo wins, and if he wins, I wonder if he's gonna have a special message for all the haters after.
I'm sure he will.
Yep, I bet you he will. Let's talk about Bellator though. At bantamweight, is that title vacant now, or who is the champ at Bellator?
So the champion is right now my teammate Sergio Pettis.
That is right, because Pettis beat Darion. Was it Darion Caldwell or Archuleta?
He beat Archuleta, Juan Archuleta.
That's right. Okay, so that's always a challenge, man, when your teammates. I know you're over there at Duke Rufus at Rufus Sport. So what happens there? I mean, I guess most people have said, I don't want to fight my teammate unless it's for the title. Is that kind of pretty much where your head's at?
Yeah, that's pretty much where my head's at. I attribute a lot of my success Sergio Pettis, and Sergio would say the same for me. So it's I don't want to I don't want to fight him or take food out of his table unless it's for something. Right. That can better my family's life. So
for sure,
that's kind of where I'm at.
How many fights away do you think you might be? Because it can't be too many. Like I'm thinking, what, 1 or 2 more wins, 3 maybe at most.
Yeah, I think after this fight, I should be probably the #1 contender. I wouldn't be surprised if they wanted to give me another fight, and I wouldn't be opposed to it.
Right.
Yeah, I kind of want to play bodyguard for Sergio for a little bit.
Sure.
So I'm guessing they're talking like this fight I'll be the #1 contender, so we'll see.
Nice.
I'm open to it all. If I have to fight Sergio next, we've had conversations and we understand that's kind of how it goes.
Right.
But if not, I'm willing to take off one of these other guys.
Absolutely. Well, talking about this fight, we're talking July 31st, only about 3.5 weeks away at the Mohegan Sun in Uncasville, Connecticut. You have the man, Magomedov. Man, you're 16-1. He's 18-1. I'm going to have my producer pull up Magomed's record. So he is a Dagestani guy. Right? You guys are almost mirror images physically, height and weight. And then let's see what he's been doing. So he's only been in Bellator for 2 fights, and he's beaten Mateus Matos and CJ Hamilton. Otherwise, he was over at AACB, which is a pretty good fighting organization.
He beat actually Peter Yan.
That's right.
So he's the only other guy to beat Peter Yan. So,
but then he did,
and then Peter Yan beat him too. So they're 1-1, him and Peter Yan.
There you go.
I'm sure after this fight, I can have a claim to be the best bantamweight in the world, you know what I mean? So
without a doubt,
that's pretty exciting.
Without a doubt, man. And so, how's training going at Rufus Sport for this fight? And I don't want you to give away any secrets you don't want to, but who's been working with you and helping you to be ready for this Dagestani grappler with striking?
So we got, just the usual cast. I got Christian Rodriguez, who's an up-and-comer, like 5-0. I got Emmanuel Sanchez, who's also fighting July 31st against Max Burnell.
Excellent.
He's a former title challenger. And then we got, kind of a bunch of cast of guys that Brian Batista, Sergio Pettis, Anthony, who else we got? We got Emmanuel Pugh, Rico Talley. We got a bunch of guys, and I've been training kind of off and on in Nebraska too, because I'm in the process of moving to Texas. So I've been training kind of in Nebraska too.
Excellent.
So yeah.
Now, the last grappler, I know Keith Lee had some grappling, but Cass Bell, wasn't he kind of a grappling strong guy?
Yeah, he had wrestling background, so
yeah,
he was more grappler.
Yeah, so you
he might have had like even. I think he was like 5-0, and he had probably a couple knockouts, couple submissions.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I would say his grappling is probably his best.
Gotcha. So
or a strong suit.
Gotcha. So your grappling has definitely improved since that Merab fight, and that was early in your career, and you got caught real quick anyway in that fight. But I think that definitely you've got confidence in this fight against this Magomedov. I know.
Oh yeah, I definitely got confidence. I'm gonna tear him up.
I love it.
I don't think he's gonna stand a chance in there.
I love it.
To be honest.
I like it. Now, when people go against these guys from Dagestan, Habib's home country, a lot of people, I think, at least fans, start thinking, well, that guy's got to be another Habib, right? And it's not, and it's not really the truth. Hardly any of these guys, right, are as good as that. But where do you put this guy Magomedov as far as like a bunch of Habib's cousins or brothers or countrymen? Is he up in the group of the better guys, or kind of in the middle or the lower?
No, I feel like he's up in the top. He probably be the top 10 of the like Dagestani fighters. I would believe,
right,
just with his record and what he's accomplished. I would believe he's maybe even top five of Dagestani. I would put Khabib up there, and Islam Makhachev.
Right.
Also Khabib. I would say they're like the top 3.
Right.
But I wouldn't. There can be arguments. He's like top 5.
Yeah, absolutely. And how do you think he would do if he went up against Merab?
If he went up against Merab, that would be an interesting fight, because I feel like they're both kind of grappler heavy. So but I kind of give it to Merab at this point.
Right.
Merab or his fights, they look like he's just got a tank.
Yeah, the gas tank's amazing. Yeah, so this guy Megamed, so even at 18-1, you still have all the confidence in the world, as you should. But man, this is an exciting matchup. Where are you guys going to be on that card? Are you the co-main or third fight, or where are you?
I have no idea. They don't put that in our contract, so I have no idea. And they also change them up on me a lot, so I have no idea right now.
Gotcha. It's got to be, when you have a 16-1 guy against an 18-1 guy, that they better put you high up. I'm sure they will, and that's right. And that's gonna be exciting. Have you fought over at the Mohegan Sun in Connecticut before?
Yeah, this will be. This fight is supposed to be in the Forum in LA.
It is.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. It is. Look at this. And you know what? Sure Dog got it wrong again. And it's because I can't believe it. Look at that. Unless they changed it, because Sure Dog is showing that as the Mohegan Sun, but all over the internet, and we're planning on going and covering that because we're based in LA. All over the internet, it's showing the Forum. So not to once again, but man, Sure Dog. I almost wonder if they know that other media sources are checking out their references, and they're gonna purposely put the wrong information to make us look silly. Because this is starting to be a trend, man. This is starting to be a trend where they have the wrong weight class, the wrong gym affiliation. I don't know, man. Sure Dog. I'm wondering, man, if they know that. So we might even have to stop looking at them as any sort of a reference site. So this is the Forum in Los Angeles. Have you fought there before?
I've never fought there.
And you are out of Texas. Were you born and raised in Texas, or where are you from?
Yeah, I was born and raised Houston, Texas. Okay,
and in the Forum, they will be allowing fans. So how many of your people do you think are going to make it over to the Forum? I bet you a fair amount, huh?
Oh man, I don't even know. I haven't even asked. I'm sure I'll have a decent amount of crowd. I don't know a good amount of people in California, and I have a couple people that will travel kind of anywhere. So yeah, I don't know.
Well, we're gonna be there coming here, man. So we're hoping I'm sure we're gonna get to talk to you on the media day and everything, man. So that'll be great. And I know the headliner is that big title fight with the champ Patricio Pitbull Freire against AJ McKee out of Los Angeles. And you know what's interesting about that is Pitbull is from Brazil. I don't think he spent too much time hanging around LA, although you know what, come to think of it, he actually has a bit. He's a friend with Henry Cejudo and the management team, and I know their chiropractor was a real good guy out of LA. So Pitbull has spent some time in LA, but LA is the home of AJ McKee, and so that's going to be a hugely AJ McKee biased crowd. But I guess Pitbull Pitbull probably doesn't even really care where he goes. What's your opinion on that one, man? That's an interesting fight. How do you see that one playing out?
That's a super interesting fight. You know, that's a toss up. I feel like that's a coin flip because that AJ McKee is tough. You know, I had my doubts about his competition, but you know, he's shown up every time, you know. He's had an up in competition, you know, and he kind of shows up in the big lights. But also, Pitbull does the same thing, you know. Pitbull is probably arguably the best fighter, the Bellator, you know, in Bellator history, with what he's accomplished. So, man, I don't even know. My heart says Pitbull, but you know, I don't know. That AJ McKee is he's definitely a fun fighter to watch, and he's super good.
Without a doubt. Adam, if you can click on see entire fight card, I'm curious. I'm going to take a look, and I bet I can probably almost tell you what position you're going to be in. Okay, check this out. As of right now, they only have seven fights listed, and there's going to probably be more. But as of right now, they have you guys as the co-main event.
They have us as the co-main event?
Yes.
Me and Magomedov?
Yes. Yep. And
crazy.
Yeah, and you know, I really think that should be it because they have former champ Brent Primus going up against a guy named Islam Mamedov below you. Now, conceivably, conceivably they could switch that and put that above you because Primus is a former champ, and both those guys have a great record. But then they have your teammate below them as Emmanuel Sanchez and Burnell as fight number. So the main event is going to be fight number 7. They have you guys as fight number 6 as the co-main. Primus and Mamedov as fight number 5, and then Sanchez and Burnell. So you never know, man. I hope they keep you guys up there. I really think that there's a good chance.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Cool. And then when they do have your fight and it finishes, are you allowed to go back into the audience to watch the main event? I know UFC is like really kind of hesitant. They don't really allow that because I think they feel too many people may try to mess with the fighter and like that. But how does Bellator feel?
My first fight, I was able to do that.
Right.
So hopefully I'll be. The first fight I had fans and it was in Hawaii. I was able to come back and sit and kind of watch with my family members in the crowd. So hopefully I could do that.
I hope so. I hope so. You know, because probably they should even give you like a cage side seat. But you know, just curious, what's your thought of that? I think that UFC feels that some fighters, if they have a big victory and everyone's happy, are going to be happy to see them in the audience. But then they could even go bug a fighter they're happy to see, and all of a sudden everyone's trying to walk over there and touch him and like that. But then I think they're more concerned about people being mad, saying, "Man, I bet against you. You lost me all my rent money." You know, or right.
Hey,
or
alcohol brings out a lot of craziness.
Right.
You know, I think that's probably the main reason. You know, they never know what's gonna happen.
Right, and then especially the fighter that lost, that would probably be a bad idea for the fighter that lost to be out there, because then there's all kinds of hate. They could be going in there saying, "You lost me my paycheck and all this stuff, man, this and that." Yep. So so it's interesting.
And the fighter's pissed off already because he's lost. You know.
Right. Speaking of which, man, you see fighters getting into fights. Did you see that situation with
Joe Schilling?
Yeah, with Joe Schilling. What's your thought on that, man? I'm really curious. Before you answer, let me set it up for people that may not know. So Joe Schilling is a longtime MMA fighter and also kickboxer, and he was in a bar recently, and some guy who was proven to be a guy who gets drunk at bars and talks trash said something to him. And then really quickly, Schilling hit him with like a 1-2 and just knocked him cold. I'm not trying to get you to talk against Joe Schilling, but What's your thought on that? How do you think you would react, and do you think it's okay if he did what he did, or where do you stand?
Yeah, when I watched the video, it looked like the guy kind of bucked at Joe Schilling. You know what I mean? At that point, like in the street, I mean, Joe Schilling being who he is, it's like you never know, and it's almost, I mean, in the street, it's kind of better to strike first than
Right.
be on the other end.
Right.
You know what I mean? Just because you don't know, what can happen. So, I mean, I don't blame him.
Yeah.
Myself, I'm not as like quick to react. So maybe I wouldn't have done the same, but you never know. He could have seen, because the video too, I wasn't able to see the full encounter. I just seen him kind of like buck at him.
Right.
So I don't know. It seemed like he kind of jumped on him pretty fast, but I didn't see everything.
Yeah, it makes sense. It's a crazy situation. I know Bas Rutten, the legendary former UFC fighter and Pancrase champion, was saying he wasn't going to do that because he would evaluate someone if they seemed drunk at first, and like that, But I mean, it is what it is. It's an unfortunate situation. Did Joe Schilling ever train out with you guys at Rufus Sport?
Yeah, I've never trained with Joe Schilling.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know where Joe Schilling is trained. I know he was the Bellator kickboxing world champion. My coach might have trained with him because I've heard his name, but I've never trained with him.
Yeah. Have you had a situation since you've been a fighter where you've been in a bar and either someone's tried to provoke you directly, or there's been like a lot of pushing and shoving just randomly?
I haven't had one of those in a while. Actually, I haven't really been out since I've had kids. I've like been kind of a hermit.
Right.
I go to the gym and then come home. But so yeah, I haven't really had those. I haven't had one of those encounters in a while. I used to have them a lot, but I haven't had one in a while.
Yeah. It almost seems to me that professional fighters maybe should be just avoiding hanging out at the bars too much. And I know they may tell me, how am I going to tell someone not to go out and enjoy themselves? But it almost just seems like, man, and like today, too many people are getting crazy. And, if you're a professional fighter, it just seems like, man, it's just a situation. Putting yourself in a situation around drunks seems like it's just not a good situation, doesn't it?
I mean, that's kind of where I'm at. It's not like worth it to me, especially like going out. Most times I go out to do anything is to like watch fights, and if I gotta hear random drunk people giving their opinion, it's just not as enjoyable to me. Also, if I gotta deal with like drunk people kind of posturing at me, that's not enjoyable too. So
yep.
That's why I kind of stay out of that scene, but I'm also married, and usually there's girls at those scenes, so
yep.
It's kind of hard when you're
yep.
when you're single and you're trying to find,
Yep, without a doubt. Speaking about that, let me tell you a funny thing, man. I have a good thing that makes our show unique. I think I'm one of the only hosts that will stick in a funny story to tell my guests to entertain you, because I appreciate you.
Yeah.
So check this out. It was about 2.5 years on our show. I'm not going to go on our show. We've been on for 4.5 years. I'm not going to mention the fighter, but it's the only episode that we ever took down the whole episode. My producer's laughing now. Yeah. So check this out. So we're recording a 2-hour show, and he was like the second guest or third guest or whatever. So we had 3 different fighters on the show, as we always have, right? And can you hear me? There, cool. Okay, so here's what happens, right? So we're in the middle of the interview with him, like about a half-hour interview, and then for whatever reason, like he turned his phone around or turned the camera around, and they're in a hotel room, and all of a sudden we see this pretty girl sitting there, right? And then he turns the camera back on, and we finish the interview, right? And then after the interview, he calls me up. And he says, hey, man, I can't have that girl on the interview. And I said, what? And he said, I'm not. Yeah, he said, it can't be seen that this girl is in that hotel room with me, right? And I said, you're right. And I said, oh, man. I mean, I said, it's going to be hard. And he goes, please, man. He goes, you have to take that down. And I went to my producers, right, and we didn't have the equipment then to, like, just do an easy edit, right? And so my producer's like, we're going to have to scrap the whole show. We're gonna have to scrap the whole. And so we did out of respect for the fighter, you know. But
Yeah.
I'm like, you know.
I mean, I'm sure he's indebted now, though.
Yeah, I hope he appreciates it. You know, English wasn't his first language, so I don't know if he appreciated it as much as like an American fighter would to know. Because I tried to tell him, I said, man, we're doing this for you, but we're scrapping our whole 2-hour show, you know, for you. And he kind of got it, but yeah, man. So I was always like, since then, I'm always like, I really appreciated that people, and I think for the next couple fighters I mentioned, I said, hey, look, if you're in a hotel room anywhere, do me a favor, man, don't spin your camera around to show anyone that you don't want to be seen on this interview, because we will not take this show down. You know? But that was, man, that's the funny time. The only time that ever happened, man, is like that girl can't be on the show. I'm like, oh, thanks, you know.
That is hilarious.
Yeah, I'm glad you like that. Yeah, that was funny. And this guy at that point was like a top 10 UFC contender. I'm going to tell you that.
Oh, man, he was like, no, you gonna ruin me.
Yeah, right.
That's crazy.
It was funny, man.
Wow.
Yeah, but hey, so let me ask you, other than this guy in front of you, Magomedov, who's very tough, and then your teammate Pettis, didn't Darion Caldwell come back down to 135, or am I mistaken?
No, he did. He came down his last fight. He just fought Leandro Higo.
Right, and who won that fight?
Higo beat him.
That's right. Okay. All right.
It was a rematch because he had beat Higo before, but it was kind of a controversial split decision that he lost.
Okay, so both him and Higo are still in the picture. So if after beating Magomedov, if they wanted you not to fight your teammate for the title next, but it was going to be Higo or Darion Caldwell, would you have a preference of which one?
I would probably pick Higo, just because which I would fight both of them. In my eyes, I want to fight like everyone in the top 10.
Right.
So I think they got Darion right now at number 10. I think they got Higo at like number 6 or something.
All right.
Yeah, somewhere around there, 6 or 5 or something.
Right. Is there?
So yeah, I would love to fight. Either one of those.
Is there anyone
I think they got me at?
Right. Where do they have you at?
I think I'm at like 4.
Nice.
3 or 4.
3 or 4. Okay, 4. Yep, my producer said. Is there also? It looks like we lost video on you. Okay, is there any way you could hit that video button again?
Oh.
That looks like the line with the camera across it, and then we won't keep you longer, just a few more minutes. But we want to make sure we can get that video back. And it's just that it looks like an old. There we go. Perfect. Oh, we had you, and then it went back.
Is it there?
It was there, and then it went away. Now we got you. Excellent. Perfect.
Oh, okay.
So, is there anyone other than your teammate and Magomedov and Higo and Caldwell that I'm forgetting that would be in that top 5 other than you?
Well, they have
Archuleta.
Juan Archuleta.
That's right.
Had the belt.
That's right.
And then Patchy Mix.
Oh, that's right. Those are both tough guys.
Yeah.
Who would you think, when you get by, I know you're not looking past Mr. Magomedov, but when you beat him, who would you think, if it's not your teammate Pettis, out of those 4 men, who would you think Bellator would think would be deserving to put you against, out of Patchy Mix, Archuleta, Higo, or Caldwell?
I would think it would be probably Archuleta or Mix.
Okay.
Probably Archuleta. Archuleta. Yeah, it'll probably be Archuleta. If they were to give me anybody, it'd probably be Archuleta, because they would probably want me to fight up if I beat Magomedov.
That's right. How would you handle a fight like that? That would be an interesting competitive fight, huh, with Archuleta, don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we're both kind of good at the same things, except for he's not a big kicker. So
right.
I just kind of, attack things that he's not good at. That's pretty much what I do with everybody.
That makes sense. All right.
I'm at a point in my martial arts journey that I'm pretty good at everything I do. So I just have to fight him where he's not as comfortable.
Makes sense. Can you do me a favor and rate those 4 men in order of who's the best between Archuleta, Patchy Mix, Higo, and Caldwell?
I would go Archuleta, Ego, Mix, Caldwell.
Okay, but they all four are very talented, don't you feel?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay,
Definitely.
so you said Archuleta, Higo, Mix, and Caldwell. Okay, cool. All right, and so last thing, gotta ask your opinion on this big UFC fight, couple weight divisions above yours, Conor McGregor and Dustin Poirier. Do me a favor, if you can pick at the end, that would be great. But even less important than picking the winner, I'd love to hear your breakdown from a high-level MMA professional that you are, that maybe a lot of fans and people don't understand. What are some of the factors here that you feel we should look for and that you feel we may or may not see that will make this fight a deciding factor one way or the other?
I think as far as like boxing, I feel that what do you call it? Dustin is a little more diverse in his boxing and his like pressure, whereas Conor is kind of more rangy and he's not as diverse. He's better from the outside. He's more like a striper,
Counter
sniper.
Right, like sniper, right.
Kind of on the outside. And he'll probably go back to that being kind of lighter on his feet and kind of keeping distance. Which he's very good at. I just feel like if it comes down to fatigue and things of that nature, Dustin has been proven that he kind of will go to the ends of the earth.
Yep.
He would fight to his dying breath. Whereas I don't know if Conor is willing to go there. So that's why I always give Dustin kind of the edge. He just seems to have more of a chip on his shoulder and more. He's willing to risk more.
Right.
I believe. So yeah.
You think he stops him again, or you think it could be a decision? 5 rounds.
No, I think he knocked him. I don't think Dustin knows how to just coast to a win.
Right.
So I believe it's going to end in a finish, and I feel like Dustin's going to come out on top.
And does it make sense that the odds are pretty close, or do you think Dustin should be like a bigger favorite? It's not even quite 2-1, Dustin, like less than 2-1.
No, I don't think it should be. It's not there. I wouldn't be surprised if Conor, was able to keep his range and trying to clip him on the outside. He's very accurate and very fast, so I wouldn't be surprised if he, kind of caught Dustin.
Makes sense.
That's how he caught him the first time, and that's kind of how the fight played out. Dustin, however, which I don't know. I mean, Dustin won the last fight, which probably changes his kind of outlook on the fight. But if I feel like Dustin approached this last fight more cautious because he knew how dangerous Conor was on the outside. So he attacked with kicks more. He didn't kind of rush him right away. You know what I mean? And so I think he's gonna do kind of the same thing. He's gonna kind of be safer in the beginning and then pour on the coals kind of later on. That's how I feel like he'll get him, because once he starts pouring the coals on, if he gets a chance to kind of let fights kind of turn into like brawls or just fights, then he's coming on top 9 times out of 10.
Absolutely. Appreciate that. Great analysis. Raufeon Stots, let us know where people can support you on social media.
Yeah, you can reach me, Raufeon Stots, pretty much everywhere. Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook.
Fantastic. Well, I really appreciate you, my friend. We look forward to seeing you in Los Angeles for Bellator 263. As of right now, shown as the co-main event against Magomedov, the man they call Raufeon Super Stots. I really appreciate you coming on and talking with us, my friend.
No problem. Thank you, man.
You're very welcome. Have a great night.
You too.
Thanks. And that was Raufeon Stots. Man, I'm so glad he reminded me. We knew that. I knew that. And then it's in Los Angeles. And I mean, and I've seen Sherdog.
It was about 3 days ago. You're like, Adam, make sure to get the editor's letter over to him.
Yes, the letter of intent. Yeah. But you know, Sherdog, I'm really starting to wonder. Because I haven't seen them go so far.
Yeah, Colin, it's totally just about us, 100%. No, I'm kidding.
No. Yeah, it's literally like it's almost like they know that other media sources are using them as a reference site.
Hey, guys, over at SureDog. Hey, Colin and I know a bunch of people that work over there, too.
Yeah,
so
yeah. I mean, we respect the organization. It's great. It's an OG, one of the OGs.
Well, they don't respect us, clearly. They're trying to throw us off the track.
It's really, because I've seen them put the wrong affiliation for fighters numerous times. I've seen
it's technology, Colin. So they're using
weight class, but now the wrong
Colin,
city, state,
it's not them. It's information out online. So they use information
automated.
crawlers.
Okay.
Yeah, it's automated.
Okay.
So our next guest is actually calling in. Make sure to add us on social media, people.
Yes, please do.
There he is.
Hey, Kennedy, can you hear me?
How are you? Yes, I could.
Excellent. I really appreciate you, my friend. All we need you to do is hit the video, which you did. Excellent. We're live, my friend. So let me give you the proper introduction here, and then we'll start talking. So, ladies and gentlemen,
I can't see you, sir. So that's okay.
Yeah, as long as you can see yourself in a frame, and then everything will look great on the show. We'll make sure you see it with the graphics. Yeah, but as of right now, technology wouldn't allow it.
Okay.
But okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'm super excited to have this next guest on the show once again. He is an amazing UFC light heavyweight contender, coming off a couple of amazing wins, training out of the incredible Fortis MMA in Texas. And we're talking about the man they call the African Savage, Kennedy Nzechukwu. How did I do with that name?
That was good. You did try it. You did good.
Thank you.
Last name you kind of busted a little bit, but you did good.
Okay, I'm close, right? And so
yeah, you get it.
I appreciate it, man. Well, all respect to you. I will get it one of these days, and you know, I'm sure people have done worse, man. So right, so I appreciate you. Well, man, I tell you what, I'm so excited to see you doing well. We talked 2 years ago on this show, and you have a good record. And in the UFC, I think you are like 4-1 now or something. Is that right?
Yeah, UFC, yes. In the UFC, yeah, 3-1, I believe so. Yeah, 4-1. Yeah.
Yep, exactly. And then your overall record is 9-1. And I'll tell you, man, it's funny. In that first UFC fight, where they put you against Paul Craig, and we've seen now that Paul Craig is up there really showing how good he is. So they give you him in your first fight. You're winning that fight, and you get caught near the end, and for whatever reason, it almost seems like sentiment was against you. People are like, oh man, now I don't know about this guy. I don't know if this guy Kennedy is good or not good, right? And I remember thinking, man, I don't know why they're thinking that way. And then when you beat Darko Stosic, that was impressive. But then in that fight, and I remember when you went up against Carlos Ulberg, that was one of Izzy's guys from New Zealand, right? And they were hyping the hell out of that guy because Izzy, the champ, Israel Adesanya, was saying that guy gives him fits in the gym. And I remember picking you on this show in my predictions, as did my producer. And I said, Kennedy's going to win this fight. And I said, I just know he's going to win this fight no matter what they're saying. And that was a war, man, because that guy was in there to win. But you just dug deep and came out with an incredible victory. And then again, they gave you another opponent and Danilo Marquez. And everyone's saying, oh, man, this guy Marquez is a killer. This guy's a killer. He's going to destroy everyone in the UFC. He's going to destroy Kennedy. And I said, I don't know, man. I said, I think Kennedy is better than what people are thinking. And you did it again. And I think people now are finally starting to believe. But how did you feel? Were you feeling over the last couple fights that people were doubting you a little bit? Or did you not even really pay much attention to what people on the internet were saying?
Well, I had an idea people were doubting me, but I didn't really care, you know. All I cared was about my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, which got me through everything. But I had an idea, but I just didn't pay attention. I just tried to focus on me and focus on my skill set and work on myself, you know, especially in the gym, and try to get that those rounds in and those experience. I know if I do get on the stages more often in the UFC, I will get that experience and what it takes, get to the next level.
Absolutely, because in life they say it really isn't how you start, but how you finish.
Yes,
And
sir.
right, just like in a race, it doesn't matter who's leading the whole time if someone comes back from the end and beats them. One of the things I always love, like they show like a race with human beings or a horse race. I love it when the person who's last almost the whole time comes up and wins
Yeah.
it.
I
Right?
know, right?
Yeah. And so in that fight with Olberg, did you feel a lot of pressure because you were at that point a 1-1 in the UFC? Right, and there's all kinds of pressure to people can't lose too many fights in the UFC before they lose their job, and so I'm sure you felt pressure to win that fight. And was it a lot? Was it more than any other fight, like in that Olberg fight?
Well, felt a little bit pressure, not too much, but I just knew they're hyping him up. They wanted him. Well, I don't know whether they want him to win, but I know they're hyping him up. So
Right.
I just knew if I beat him, I'd take the juice,
Yes.
So I just tried, focus. I did had a little bit pressure, but I didn't really worry about it because I knew I had what it takes to beat him.
Right.
But leading up to the fight, I was just ready, and I know they're hyping him up and everything about that. But I mean, it's the fight game, it depends. If I was in his shoes, I would love the attention too. But at the same time, it's a job. I had no hard feelings. I just had to go there and accomplish the mission.
Absolutely. And you dug deep, man. That's what what really impressed me, man, because I've been a fight fan for so many years. I was watching boxing with my dad when I was like 4 years old, and continued to watch boxing and kickboxing and MMA. So I have like many years of watching combat sports, and I always trained in karate and then jiu-jitsu. So I have a lot of respect for what you guys do. And I remember I would always notice when a fighter had a lot of guts. Like I was young way back when Evander Holyfield fought, the former heavyweight boxing champion. And I saw that same thing in him, that ability to dig deep. And I think that's what champions are made of, and that's what the better fighters are made of, man. So what do you attribute to your ability to be able to dig down so deep and handle such adversity like you do?
Well, it has to be my upbringing in Africa. So growing up in Africa it's tough, growing up in the villages, it's very tough out there, you get picked on and get beat up by your older siblings or cousins, even at school. So all the upbringing, waking up early, going to the farm, fetching water, all those stuff kind of contributed to my resilience and my ability to dig deep. And especially my mother, my mother being in the position she's in, suffering the illness she's going through, and knowing how hard she worked, for us to be in this country, so I have no choice but to dig deep. So especially for also the kids, back home that don't have the resources and the push or the help to come to this level to compete, it would be disrespectful not to give it my all, because not a lot of people have the chance and opportunity to perform at this stage. So I just knew I had to dig deep, and it's in my nature, to dig deep. So it's not something you just learn. It has to be in you, you have to have that hunger, you have to want it. So although I had a slow start in the fight game, I know that I'm learning gradually. So this is the only sport where I had a little bit rough time picking up. So I just had to connect the dots, try to gradually, as I'm gradually learning, and the more I perform on that stage, the more I'll be able to perform at a higher level and be able to show my whole skill set. Right now, I'm not really showing it a lot because I'm just trying to transition, I just need that experience. That's all I'm trying to say.
Without a doubt. And you were from Nigeria in Africa, right?
Yes, sir.
So let me ask you, when you were fighting Israel Adesanya's teammate, did you get at all to talk to Israel, or because he's Nigerian, and so it's interesting because his teammate is not. His teammate is, I think, a New Zealander. Did he? Obviously, you have to support your teammate, so clearly he's cheering for his teammate. But did he speak with you? Was there any respect that he gave you, being also Nigerian like him?
No, we didn't speak at all. It's just it's business, You gotta support your teammate no matter what. So forget about all the African and whatever.
Right.
You gotta support the teammate the whole time. So we didn't speak. I still love the guy. You know, he's doing great. He's doing amazing. I'm still gonna support him. So
Without a doubt.
it is what it is.
Yeah, I'll bet you though he knew you were going to be tough. I'll bet you Israel knew you were going to be a tough fight for his teammate.
I don't know, but I don't know what he was thinking. I just was worried about me. You
Yep,
know, worried
that
about
makes
what I'm gonna
sense.
do. At the end of the day, I have to feed my family, so
Yep.
gotta go out there and destroy anyone in front of me. So
Without a doubt.
that's all it is. No hard feelings. It's just business.
Without a doubt. And then in the Danilo Marquez fight, a similar situation. How did that fight feel, right? You were having to dig down deep again. And did you feel the same thing in both the fights with Marquez and Ulberg, or what was the difference in how you felt in both of those fights?
The Ulberg fight was more of not just pressure, but more of coming off the layoff because of my ACL surgery.
Right.
So like I had ACL meniscus surgery, so like it was more of a hesitance. I was more hesitant because I was just worried about the foot. As you see, if you watch me in that fight, I was more flat-footed.
Yes.
So coming off that surgery is like it was kind of messing with my mind, you know. So I was just trying to not re-injure myself, but I know I was not going to injure myself, but you still have that doubt, you know, a little bit creeping in. So I was just more worried about that. But after that fight, the Danilo Marquez fight was a totally different situation because I felt sick on that Tuesday night after I flew into Vegas.
Mhm.
So Tuesday nights, usually when we fly in, we have the workout room, so you get to do your workouts or whatever you want to do in that workout room. I did not do at all any of the workouts. I went in there and tried to move around with my teammate, but I just couldn't. So my coach called, was asking me how am I doing, and I told him I'm sick, man. The fever was skyrocketing, and Wednesday it was getting worse. I tried to move in the workout room, but I couldn't, man. After like a couple 30 minutes, I just couldn't. So I went back to the hotel and just slept the whole time. And then my coach was calling me, he was like, just rest. He thought it was exhaustion because I pushed myself every time. So usually I stay healthy, but my coach was thinking it was I overtrained, but I don't think it was the case. I knew I was sick because I got the fever, started getting congestion. I was just worried that it was COVID, you know.
Right.
But the test came back 45 minutes on that Tuesday after we tested and said it wasn't COVID. So I didn't know what it was, you know, but I was just congested. I had migraine, fever, exhaustion, complete exhaustion. So it lingered in towards weight when I was cutting weight, and I was getting lightheaded because I couldn't cut weight. I was already exhausted, and again I was dehydrating myself, so it wasn't helping at all.
No.
So I was so tired, you know, I was struggling with the weight cut because I was tired, and the congestion was not even helping. Then the exhaustion and the fever, and I was like just praying, you know. Me and my pastor prayed, and we just kept praying. My mother were praying over the phone, and I was just begging God, just let me get through this. I needed this fight. I needed it, and I just can't. I couldn't. I'm not gonna forfeit this fight. So I just had to get through this. Then it was crazy because Saturday morning, you know, the fights were earlier. So like earlier when we had to warm up, the 3-4 fights ahead of mine, you know, they were fighting and to reach the Russian guy that was ahead of me. We're in the same training workout room before the fight. So I was watching him get ready, and as he was walking out to his fight, I started warming up again, and man, I just couldn't, man. After every 2 minutes warming up, my coach, I just couldn't. I was kept sitting down trying to take a break, and coach was like, "Come on, you could do it." He kept pushing me, kept edging me on to like push through, and it was just bad. I was just lucky every time the commission they walked in, I was just trying to monitor them so they won't like notice something was compromised with me and my health. So I don't want them to stop the fight. So like, man, it was tough, man. Then walking out to the cage is like, my friends and teammates was like, "You looked good," but I'm like, trust me, they didn't know what I was going through. I was just completely tired. The guy grabbed the single leg, dumped me, and I just couldn't fight it, man. I was just exhausted. I was still having that fever, but you know, I poker faced everything. So he rode my back. I'm sorry, sir.
No problem.
I'm sorry. I just got through with training, so that's why I'm in the laundry room.
Not a problem. Not a problem at all.
So yeah, the guy picked me. My single leg dumped me. I couldn't fight it. We struggled, and how I got through that fight, I have no clue. I just pushed. I had no clue. I know it's God that got me through that fight with all my prayers and my obedience towards Him, and I just praised the Lord. Once I got to the hotel, I just went to bed, took a shower, went to bed, and that was it. I never ate or anything.
Oh man,
I just slept. Yeah,
Man.
I just slept and I just wanted to be in Dallas. I was like, man, I gotta change my flight. It was on. Usually the UFC flies you out the next day, but I was like, nah, I want to go home. So
Yeah.
I changed my flight. I purchased another ticket, and that like 5 hours away from 5 hours after the fight. Then we flew out, came to Dallas. I just went to bed. So
Man.
it was God's grace, and I thank God for that. But that was it was a crazier situation. It was crazy, man. It was thank God for that. I got through it though.
Without a doubt, man, you're a man of great faith, and I know that's definitely important. And you know, and you did the best you can do, and you dug deep, man. That's amazing. So these two wins, these two big wins, where you looked so good, you were damaged and injured in the first one, and you were severely sick in the second one. That's amazing. So I would imagine that the next time you fight, God willing, you're going to be healthy. You're probably really going to.
Man,
You're probably.
I'm begging, Lord.
Yeah.
I was like, let me be healthy.
Yeah.
Because you haven't seen me perform when I'm fully healthy, and I know the fight game. A lot of fighters fight injured or whatever the case may be, but I just want to be healthy next time so I can really showcase my skill set and everything I've learned in the training room.
Without a doubt, man, and I think that'll be amazing because I think you'll be even that much better. Are they talking about any opponents, or is anything you can mention as far as what might be coming up?
Well, right now, I think McMahon is our matchmaker, and he's like looking for fights. I believe my coach is because my coach is my manager, so I guess they're trying to like find a matchup, So, but whatever the matchmakers give me, I'm willing to take because I'm healthy now. I'm ready. So I'm ready to go, So I always stay ready, so I don't have to really get ready. So I just train the whole time, run, stay healthy, work out, and keep my mind fresh. Focus on the right things, and I'm always ready. So I just ready. I'm ready. Once the fight, to get the fight, we just start tweaking things, focusing and narrowing it in. So I'm just ready for whatever.
Without a doubt. And since you fought June 26th, man, your fight looks like you're getting fights fairly frequently. You fought March 6th, and then 3 months later. So if it's continuing like that, then maybe you might have a fight in August or September. Would either of those work for you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Either one?
I'm ready,
Yeah.
Either one, I'm ready because this is a fight game, someone might get injured or a matchup might pop up, so you have to be ready. It's not like the NBA or something like that where like there's no season, so we just got to stay ready. This is the fight game, and you have to be ready to grab the opportunity as it comes because you never know when this opportunity might pop up, so you got to be able to feed your family and take the opportunity as it comes up.
Without a doubt. Now, you've got a few good big guys there at Fortis. Let us know who are your more frequent training partners over there.
Uriah Hall, you know him.
Yep.
And, Alonzo Menefield, we have Ryan Spann, you know him too. And I have my teammate Zumor, I have Jeff Neal, and we have a new teammate. He's also Nigerian. Cool. So I go with him. He's a middleweight, and you don't really know him because he fought on the lower level like LFA. So
right.
I have them, and we have Rashad Coulter, Clinton, is several other teammates that some of them you won't know, but most of my major training partners is got to be Ryan and Alonzo, and those are my major training partners because they're light heavyweights. They're in my weight class, so they give me the push and the good looks I need to use to display my skills. So they help sharpen me because Ryan and Alonzo have been fighting way before I have, and they have more experience as far as striking and grappling, and I get to learn and absorb from them and get to work on my game too.
Without a doubt, and those are really, really good fighters. Would you like to have a chance to get that one back, as they say in English in America, against the one you lost, against Paul Craig?
Oh, absolutely. That would be something I'm definitely into. But right now I know I keep everything in the Lord's hands. Once He shows me, because I pray a lot and I focus on the Lord, and He will provide the opportunity for me. When the opportunity arises, I'll capitalize on it and take advantage of it. So I don't try to like get anxious about, I need this, I want that. I just stay calm, and I know the Lord will provide the right matchups for me. So I go as it comes. The Lord blesses me with opportunity, I grab it. And you're right. It's definitely Paul Craig. I do want to get that one back. I know I am better than him, but he was the better man that night. And
right, and that was your first UFC fight. Yep, and you've definitely grown since then. There are some interesting guys at light heavyweight. There's that crazy guy Jerry Prokaska. What do you think of that
Oh
crazy?
yeah,
What do you, that guy's a crazy,
yeah, that guy.
interesting guy, huh?
Yeah, he's good, man. You know, with the cardio and with the pace, and he has a unique style. You know, and that's definitely good. He's
Yeah.
very good. So
You against
yeah,
him would be a very interesting matchup, don't you think?
yeah, that'd be a very interesting one. Yeah, I'll love that. You know, I like the high pace fights. You know, and the unique style.
Absolutely. And got something? Okay. And so I don't want to overlook one thing. You mentioned your mother, because I was watching on another show that your mother is very ill, I think, with ALS, and she's always been your biggest supporter. And now you're taking care of her. How has that affected your life? Is your mom still wanting to watch your fights? Is she hanging in there? How's that going?
Yeah, she doesn't like watching my fight. She probably have a heart attack watching it. But
Right, right.
yeah, she does like when I get the win though. She feels way better. You know, she's always there to support me no matter what, and she's one of the strongest people in my life. You know, she's been there since the beginning through the thick and thin, always praying for me, always pushing me through. She's one of she is my biggest supporter, and I thank God for her. It's not. Her situation doesn't really bother me at all. It's my obligation. It's my duty to take care of her. Because I mean,
Right.
I know most people don't have some people, a lot of people don't have that relationship with their parents. But my mom is a big deal. You know, so for me, it's a big deal. We have a certain bond.
Absolutely. And so the responsibility, you're
Yeah,
saying, it doesn't bother you at all.
absolutely. So
Yeah.
that's literally my responsibility to take care of her, no matter what situation. I keep her first. She's my priority right there. So
Yeah.
once I'm glad I have a sister, that younger sister, that I teach, you know, as far as feeding her and helping her do certain things like shower and stuff like that. I teach my sister how to do some things. So when I'm not there, or when I'm training, or when I travel to Vegas, she's always there to help my mom. And as far as the meals and everything, I have a guy that preps the meals and supplies them to us. So everything is well situated. So I just thank God, you know, my mom is been there through the thick and thin. So I thank God for her being alive today.
Without a doubt. I'm sure she, I'm
Yeah.
sorry to interrupt you. I'm sure she's a great inspiration for you when you fight, huh?
Yes, a lot, man. She's been there, man. She's been there through everything. It's just crazy the journey we've been. She came to this country having nothing, you know. She just worked her way from the bottom to the top, and right when it was time for her to be right when she got to the nursing level where she became a licensed nurse, and she was about to enjoy everything she put into it, that's when her illness came. And so crazy, she didn't get to enjoy what she suffered the whole time for it. But I'm glad for the bonuses. You know, I did get to pay off of a lot of her nursing loans, and the debt she racked up in school. You know, so that helped a lot.
That's
So
it.
thank God, you know, thank God for helping me, and thank God for McMahon, Dana White, you know, Sean Shelby for giving me the opportunity too. So yes, he's been nothing but great to me. So I'm grateful.
Absolutely.
Yeah, my
Absolutely.
mom is a lot. Yes, sir.
Yeah, you have a great attitude, man, and family is so important. And you know, I think that that you know, you're a guy doing the right thing in life. You're 29 years old, so you're still a young man, and it's impressive to see that you put your family first, and you're without hesitation doing everything to take care of your mother. And so that's a great thing. I believe, like they say in karma, you know, I think religion is even more important, but good karma is like doing a good thing and putting a good thing out there. God sees it, people sees it, and I think you have this, right? You're taking care of your mom and your family, and so I think that that you're someone that people can cheer for, because you fight for something very important, the health of your family and the love of your family. Yeah, so I really appreciate that, man, and I think you're an amazing contender, man. I think that probably people are going to want to avoid you in fights, but some people will fight you, I'm sure. But I think that people now see that you are absolutely for real, and you know, your next fight, I think, is going to be a big fight. And I think at light heavyweight, I think you're very close, really, to being top 10. Did you see a ranking last time, or where you are right now?
Man, I just want to fight, whatever God puts in my way, I'm fighting, but if it's His will for me to get up there, then I will get up there. But I'm gonna be able to control what I can control, but what I can't control, I put in the Lord's hands. But I'm ready, I'm hungry, I want to fight, I gotta use this time, because this window closes so fast, so we don't stay young forever. So you gotta utilize the time we do have, because if you get injured and have a career damaging injury and where you can't fight again, so you never know tomorrow. So there's a saying in my language they call it says echidime. That means tomorrow is pregnant with something new, so you never know what is tomorrow holds. So you got to utilize the time you have now to capitalize on all the opportunities God's giving you. So sometimes
Yes.
people want to train and sometimes people want to be lazy or stuff like that, but you don't have much time. You never know what tomorrow has in sight, so you got to be able to capitalize and focus hard and use it. This is, sports is like something for the youth.
Yes.
When you get older, you get injured and you can't perform as much. So I'm ready to fight, as much as I can in the window I have, and capitalize on every opportunity the UFC gives me. So I'm grateful to UFC. They've helped me change my life. It helps me support my mother. With all the money, the money they've paid me so far, I'm using that for my mother. Which she deserves every part of it. So I'm grateful. I'm grateful to the UFC.
Absolutely. Well, that's the great attitude. And at 29 years old, you're in a really good position. It seems like a lot of the guys at light heavyweight are 32 years old, 35 years old, 37 years old. So you're in a really good position at 29, as focused as you are, and with the great team that you have. I know you're gonna do great things. And before I let you go, really quick, if I can have two predictions from you. The first is this big fight this Saturday. Conor McGregor and Dustin Poirier. If you can predict the winner, and if you can tell us how you think that fight is going to play out.
Well, based on what we've seen so far, Conor's a sniper in the first 2 rounds. He's a great puncher. He capitalizes that fast twitch muscle, and he's good at that. He has that reflex. So we know that, well, based on what we've seen, he doesn't have the cardio to push in later rounds. So I think if he has a chance, he has to be in the first 2 rounds. But once he passes those 2 rounds, with Dustin's cardio and grit, I don't think Dustin's gonna take him out. So like Conor, I don't think he won't be able to submit to Dustin. So his only chance of winning is a knockout in the first 2 rounds. Dustin's chance of winning is finishing, and he could also submit Conor. But I don't see the fight going 5 rounds. It's not gonna go all 5 rounds. I don't think so. It's either Dustin finishing him in the later rounds or even in the second round. But Conor is gonna be that fast and calculated and fresh in the first 2 rounds. So he has those 2 rounds to win the fight by knockout, and Dustin has the later rounds to finish Conor once he starts getting tired and fatigued.
That makes sense. And then at heavyweight, I know everyone was hoping to see Francis Ngannou against Derek Lewis, and now I don't know what went wrong. Maybe there's some problems with negotiating with Francis, but now it looks like it's Derek Lewis against Cyril Gane from France.
Yes.
Yeah. How do you think that fight plays out, and who wins that?
And Cyril Gane is a beast, man, and Derek Lewis is also a beast too. But man, Derek Lewis, I know he has a crazy power, but he could also finish Cyril, but Cyril's too fast, and he moves so fast as a heavyweight, and he has superior striking. I just can't see Derek Lewis stopping Cyril. I think Cyril's gonna get the win by unanimous decision or by knockout, because Cyril Gane is just too quick and too athletic, and he hits hard. So like, you don't have a lot of heavyweights that move like he does, and he's a huge guy. So he's just good. He showcased all those skills against Volkov and the other guy. I can't remember the previous guy fight he had.
Rosenstruck.
Yeah, Rosenstruck. Yes.
Yeah.
And Cyril Gane is just a beast, man. He's huge. He's fast. He's athletic, and it's hard to do it as a heavyweight too, because those guys, I know a lot of them don't have that cardio to push, but Cyril Gane is just too quick, too fast, and I just think he's getting the job done.
Very true. Very true. Real
And
quick.
eventually he's probably gonna fight. Eventually he's gonna fight Francis.
That's what I was going to say.
It's a nice
Can you tell me real quick? I don't want to keep you too much longer. Who wins if it's Cyril
No,
and
you're
Francis?
good. Yeah, if you take your time, you're good. I'm done with practice, so we
I
have all the
appreciate
time we want.
I appreciate it. But
Yeah.
give me quick, because I know in a few minutes we have to wrap up the show. I appreciate it. But
Yes, sir.
Gone versus Francis. What do you think?
Wow, that's an awesome one. I know they're previous training partners and friends, but it's all business now. If Gane versus Ngannou,
Yep.
Ngannou has that crazy power. If he connects, it's over. But I know with facing Gane, he has to be more disciplined. He can't be swinging crazy because Gane is too fast too. He's crazy fast and he hits hard. He might not hit as hard as Ngannou, but he has superior striking. So again, it's a tough one. I don't know who wins that because they're both fast, quick, and athletic. Gane has the superior striking, and Ngannou has the crazy power. So man, it's crazy. It's a crazy one. I'm curious. I'm very curious. I don't know who will win,
Yep.
because they're so both good and they have certain skill sets that is very vital when it comes to fighting. So I know Gane has the cardio. And has superior striking. I know Ngannou has the heavy power,
Yep.
which if he connects is nice lights out. So I'm very curious.
Yeah.
And I know Gane has a chin too, so I'm very curious.
It'd be amazing.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
No way to know the winner. I agree. So Kennedy, tell us so that people know the proper way to say your last name. Is it Nzechukwu, or how do we say it correctly?
You got it towards the end, right? But Nze, so it's like Nze. So pretend like an E is in front of the N.
Okay.
Nze.
Nzechukwu.
Yes, Nzechukwu.
Nzechukwu. Got you. So
Yes.
Kennedy Nzechukwu, I thank you so much for coming
Thank
on
you
our
so
show.
much, man.
I think on social media it's just your name, or is it African Savage? Where can people support you on social media?
Instagram, Jungle Boy NAIJA, Jungle Boy Naija. So Jungle Boy and underscore NAIJA, and on Facebook is Kennedy Nzechukwu, the same thing, just my first and last name. And I don't really have Twitter and stuff like that. There's all this social media stuff. I don't even know how to use it. But UFC, I know they're big on social media, so that's why I kept the Instagram. But usually I had just the Facebook to communicate mostly with my friends in Nigeria. But I just had to open Instagram because UFC is very big on that. So yeah, that's pretty much it, sir.
Absolutely. Well, I appreciate you so much, Kennedy Nzechukwu. You're an amazing fighter.
Sir.
You're an amazing man. God bless you. We'll keep cheering for you.
Thank you so much, sir. I really appreciate the support. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Have a great night.
You too, sir.
Thank you. And that was Kennedy Nzechukwu.
Nzechukwu.
And he is a really good man. It's amazing how he's taking care of his mother, the primary caregiver for her. To be training as hard as he does and also be a primary caregiver is a lot of work, a lot of just emotionally taxing, physically taxing things. And you want a guy like that to win.
You want a guy like that to win? The UFC wants a guy like that to
Yeah.
win because there's such a huge story value there.
Oh yeah, and not only that, but all the money he can have to help with his mother's care. Like, I wish I had $1 million I could give to him because his mom deserves the best. He's an amazing guy, amazing warrior, and I'm really grateful that he came on.
Absolutely. Well, Colin, it's been another amazing episode of MMA Power Hour. This is our 9th season, episode 15, and we're wrapping her all up. You guys are absolutely amazing. Before we go, I want to go ahead and let you know about Nessa's Hemp. It is literally the best CBDA product on the market. CBDA is a cold-pressed hemp oil product that you can go ahead and purchase from them by going over to mmaph.nessashemp.com. You get yourself a nice discount, and you get to feel all the benefits of a cold-pressed CBD.
You feel the power.
Yeah, you feel the power. It readjusts your life totally. And Colin, thank you so much. Thank you so much for all these great interviews. And everybody out there, thank you for tuning in. Make sure to hit us up on all of our social media. It's at MMA Power Hour. And also hit up our website, MMAPowerHour.com, for all the breaking news out there. And for this week, I'm tapping out and handing it over to Colin.
Thank you so much, Dr. Anna Roorda. Everything you do is amazing. The way the show looks and runs, and even on camera, you're fantastic. Appreciate you a lot. So thanking our guests in order of appearance real quick. First guest we had, D-Rod, Daniel Rodriguez, with a fight coming up here, hopefully as it was supposed to next week, not against Khabib's cousin, but against an opponent to be determined. Hopefully that will be determined soon. Thank you so much, D-Rod. Next guest was Supa, Raufeon Stots, the top contender over in Bellator. Big fight, the 31st against Magomedov in Los Angeles. We will be there. Thank you so much, Raufeon. And then the third and final guest, the light heavyweight contender, the warrior, the guys like Rocky, the way he comes back and digs deep. We're talking about the African savage, Mr. Kennedy Nzechukwu. And thank you so much, Kennedy. Really appreciate you. Guys, girls, go out there, spread the love in a positive way. Be that guy, be that girl. It'll come back to you a million times over. Don't forget your friends, neighbors, parents, kids, coworkers, and your pets. Take good care. Make sure they have a cool place in this hot summer, and fresh water. Unconditional love is what you get 100% of the time from your pets. And love yourself. You deserve it. For the entire team here at the MMA Power Hour, I'm Colin Crandall. See you at UFC 264. I'm tapping out.